Right now at 10, the Pride Parade takes over State Street. Why this year's event is different from the years past. Plus, a fire destroys a Family Dollar in Milwaukee, and officials believe it was intentionally set. And area foodies are gathering in Madison today for a festival. How that event hopes to give back to area charities.
This is News 3 at 10.
Good evening and thanks for watching News 3 at 10. I'm Keely Arthur. Today, many took to State Street for the annual Pride Parade, but one group that had planned to take part was absent. Our Madeline O'Neill shares what group and why.
Being gay is normal, being queer is normal.
Here at Pride Parade,
It's also a chance to just dress up and just be your best self.
it's easy to get lost in a sea of color.
Everybody gets to see all of their colors.
With groups from all walks of life here to show their support.
I'm just glad to be here with the community, so I'm just want to see everyone's faces.
Seeing things like this really helped me learn to be myself and really be proud of who I am.
But one group
It's a complicated and very nuanced situation.
is notably missing.
I can see how people would be intimidated by police officers showing up in uniform.
Outreach, the organization leading the parade for the past 5 years, decided to not allow law enforcement agencies to march beside them.
I support outreach and navigating that really difficult situation of intersectional priorities.
The aim is to make as many people in their community as possible feel comfortable.
It's complicated. This is hard stuff, and if we thought it was all easy, we wouldn't be here.
That's all anybody has talked about all week long.
Despite the lack of blue, Outreach Executive Director Steve Starkey doesn't want the Rainbow Parade's intended message to get washed out.
We've still got a ways to go.
After all, he says, there are plenty of other topics to talk about and sights to see.
We have to be vigilant, and we have to keep fighting for our rights.
Hopefully, the police officers are able to show up maybe next year.
And I think the most important thing is to not forget about what an event like this is all about and what it really represents to a lot of people.
In Madison,
It's 2 words, Happy Pride.
Madeline O'Neill, WISC News 3.
Madison police say they were disappointed at Outreach's decision. While a 19-year-old man is dead after apparently shooting himself at a gun range in southwestern Wisconsin, Lafayette County Sheriff's Department was called to DNR's shooting range in the town of Fayette yesterday afternoon. Paramedics tried to revive the man, but he died. Authorities say the victim was Noah Garrett of Stoughton. According to the sheriff's office, he died of an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. Authorities are still investigating the details. A family is without their home tonight after an early morning fire. The Madison Fire Department responded to the 4600 block of Gray Fox Trail around 4:30 a.m. for reports of a fire after a homeowner saw flames coming from the roof. Firefighters say several people were inside the home at the time, though no residents were injured. Because of the extensive damage to the roof and attic, the family will not be able to stay in their home. The fire was out just before 6 a.m. That cause is still under investigation. We're learning more about a fire that destroyed a Family Dollar on Milwaukee's north side. Crews were called to the store around 3:30 yesterday afternoon. Fire officials tell us everyone got out of the building safely, but they believe the fire was intentionally set. Milwaukee police say one person was taken into custody in connection to that fire.
Just sad, kids and people just destroying everything. We ain't gonna have nothing left.
Shocking, surprising. So I thought the neighborhood was coming up.
Employees of that Family Dollar say the company is placing them at other Family Dollar locations around the area. Well, switching to weather now, let's turn it over to meteorologist Dave Caulfield with your first alert forecast. Hi, Dave.
Hey, Keely. Quiet conditions right now, maybe a little bit of fog forming overnight once again, but tomorrow that becomes a little bit of a different story with rain showers and thunderstorms possible throughout southern Wisconsin. Downtown Madison on the Edgewater Skycam looking at partly to mostly cloudy skies, 73 degrees, east-southeast wind at 9 miles per hour at that dew point, still in the upper 60s. Temperatures are in the upper 60s and low 70s across southern Wisconsin. Dew points are pretty close to that, so don't be surprised if we see some more patchy dense fog. Not a whole lot showing up right now, but we are down to 4-mile visibility in Boscobel, 6-mile visibility in Lone Rock. Doppler track is quiet across southern Wisconsin right now, but we are watching our next low pressure system. It's a big one, too, as it moves to the north and east slowly, and it will arrive by the time we get to tomorrow afternoon and evening. Temperatures will be in the upper 70s. With showers and thunderstorms, some heavy rain and localized flooding is possible. We'll take a look at that as we head into our first alert forecast in just a few minutes.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, Dave. A man arrested after he hit a parked car while riding his motorcycle early this morning. It happened on the 200 block of South Randall Avenue in Janesville. Police said the driver, 58-year-old John Wallace, sustained serious but non-life-threatening injuries. After investigating, police said they found that Wallace was under the influence at the time of the crash. Wallace was arrested on suspicion of his 7th OWI offense. Madison police and fire responded to a crash involving a motorcycle around 2 this afternoon. Officials say it happened at the intersection of East Washington and Patterson Street, right where the Yum Yum Fest was taking place. Investigators say they believe the motorcycle driver was speeding. That driver has minor injuries, according to police. That crash still under investigation. Well, hundreds of people are tasting some of the best dishes in Madison while helping give back to local charities. Yum Yum Fest is a joint effort between the Madison Area Chefs Network and Breeze Stevens Field Foodies, who attend the event, had access to 30 of the Madison area's best chefs and restaurants and paid $5 per plate. The funds raised will go towards the Sunshine Place in Sun Prairie and Community Action Coalition for South Central Wisconsin. Tori Miller, Iron Chef winner and owner of multiple restaurants around Madison, says the joint effort is great for the city.
I'm just really proud of the Madison Area Chefs Network, from where we started to where we are now, and for the just working together as restaurants to do something awesome for our community is really, really fun.
Last year, the festival raised $10,000 for local charities. A family is on a mission today to bring more good into the world by holding a music festival a year after their son's death. Paul Natsky passed away last year at 15. He lived with spina bifida, a birth defect that affected his ability to walk. His parents say he was a kid who loved life and worked to overcome his physical limitations. The music festival, called Paul-Palooza, was created to capture his optimistic spirit.
He loved rock and roll. He loved music, and we wanted to have something that was fun and not a memorial type event. More like, let's get together and have a little party.
We didn't want to throw a pity party. We wanted to throw a real party.
Yeah.
Some of the proceeds from the event are going to Paul's sled hockey team, which his parents say was his passion. A local pastor is releasing a book that he hopes will raise awareness about the use of therapy animals in our communities. Pastor Jared Parmley, who is the pastor at Emmanuel Lutheran Church in Mount Horeb, wrote a children's book about his dog, Hooper, who serves as a therapy and ministry dog. The book is called Super Duper Hooper Helps a Neighbor. It tells a story of how Hooper worked with others in our community to respond to and support a family who had a house fire.
And Hooper was being trained by an organization called Occupause as a guide dog for the blind. And he had an abnormality in his elbow and couldn't continue, but he was so good at being a service dog that his trainer asked if I would consider adopting him and do this kind of work.
Hooper has volunteered at the Mount Horeb Public Library and also spends time in schools in both Mount Horeb and Verona, visiting classrooms, reading with students, and providing comfort to students and staff during difficult times. Over in Madison, paddlers and runners took to Lake Wingra today in a unique fun run and float. The 5th annual Duck Dash took off from Wingra boats this morning. Participants started with a 3K paddle followed by a 10K loop around the lake. According to organizers, the route was selected to show off the beauty of Lake Wingra. Organizers say what makes the event special is the people behind it.
Every volunteer is somehow connected through the boathouse, through the running community, through the paddling community, and so it's just like, it kind of feels like family every year.
Proceeds from the event fund Wingreboat's Science Thursday event, which teaches community members about the lakes and their ecosystems. A fun time in the sky as the Wanakee landing strip hosted a fly-in breakfast this morning for community members and aviators. Cloudy weather delayed some flights, but as the morning wore on, attendees were able to watch planes take off. A pancake breakfast was also served alongside stationary planes for guests. Proceeds from the event will go towards operating costs at the landing strip. Over to Middleton, where the sport of Quidditch from the Harry Potter books and movies landed this weekend. While it may not be played on actual flying broomsticks, the sport is adapted directly from J.K. Rowling's books. The Major League Quidditch Cup brought in 16 teams from around the nation to our area. Organizers say that some people might think the sport looks silly, but that changes when they see it.
We take it seriously. It's not as Harry Potter or magical as everyone thinks. We don't take ourselves too seriously. We know where we come from, and we understand that it's a Harry Potter-based sport, and we still recognize our roots. But I like to explain to them and explain how the game works.
Organizers say that the sport is growing and new athletes are always getting involved. There's more to come on News 3 at 10. Up next, after a week of new revelations of sexual abuse against the Catholic Church, church leaders are calling for a mass of forgiveness. Stay with us. The Catholic Church has been apologizing since a grand jury report on sexual abuse in 6 Pennsylvania dioceses was released. Today is the first Sunday since then, and churches across the Northeast are holding a, quote, mass of forgiveness. DeMarco Morgan has the latest.
In the name of our local church, I voice again my heartfelt sorrow and sincere apology to all survivors of clergy sexual abuse.
Bishop Ronald Gaynor with the Diocese of Harrisburg now joins a list of Roman Catholic clergy praying and asking for forgiveness. This comes after a grand jury's report last week in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania alleged rampant sex abuse affecting more than 1,000 children by 300 priests in 6 Pennsylvania dioceses over the past 7 decades. Gaynor, who is named in the report, is accused of reaching out to the Vatican to protect 2 of the priests accused of abuse. The Harrisburg Diocese has taken some responsibility for their actions, but the implications of dozens more priests in past decades has victims like Sean Doherty speaking out against the church.
Statutes of limitation, legislative fight, that's it for me. I'm not looking for to regain the church.
Maria Werner from Washington, D.C., who attended a Mass of Forgiveness at St. Patrick's Cathedral on 5th Avenue in Manhattan, says more healing is needed.
Now that this has come to light, the church can take the necessary steps to have this never, ever happen again.
Even New York's top priest, Archbishop Timothy Cardo-Dolan, weighed in at a newspaper op-ed saying that he felt hurt, betrayed, and disgusted by the report. Now the focus shifts to the Vatican and Pope Francis and what he's likely to say when he addresses the World Meeting of Families next week in Ireland. DeMarco Morgan, CBS News, New York.
President Trump blasted a New York Times article Sunday asserting the White House counsel shared detailed testimony in the ongoing Russia investigation. Rudy Giuliani said he won't let the president be rushed into an interview. White House counsel Don McGahn did meet with Mueller's team and, according to the New York Times, has already given 30 hours of testimony. President Trump fired off an angry tweet calling the article, quote, a fake piece. Giuliani said the president is secure in McGahn's testimony and accused Mueller of leaking the story to the New York Times.
Look, I'm not going to be rushed into having him testify so that he gets trapped into perjury. They're down to desperation time. They have to write a report, and they don't have a single bit of evidence.
Former FBI Director James Comey helped inspire the special counsel's probe. Comey tweeted late Sunday about, quote, truth, writing truth exists and truth matters. Well, switching to weather now, Dave Caulfield, and please tell me tomorrow will be as beautiful as today was.
Unfortunately, the rain has to come back sometime, it seems, and it picked tomorrow because the low pressure system on the way. We don't really get to enjoy the sunshine of the last couple of days. We needed that chance to dry out before we talk about this alert day on Monday. Showers and thunderstorms rolling in the afternoon and evening. Some of them could be strong, and localized flooding is possible, especially in those areas that really don't need it. That saw all that rain on Thursday and Friday, like Watertown. Speaking of Watertown, Jefferson and Dodge counties are under a flash flood watch from tomorrow afternoon into Tuesday morning. Also, the other counties you see a little bit closer to Milwaukee that are shaded in green are under this flash flood watch. There could be some localized flooding outside of those areas as well, but the most rain, at least on our latest forecast models, is set to fall there. About 1 to 2 inches generally is possible across southern Wisconsin, and in that area, about 2 to 4 inches locally is possible. Hopefully, it doesn't come to pass, but there is that possibility. Doppler track is quiet right now, maybe a few blips earlier this evening, but really not looking at anything significant until we zoom out a little bit, and you can see the start of that low pressure system affecting portions of Minnesota and Iowa. We do have a marginal risk of severe weather for much of southern Wisconsin tomorrow. What this means is a couple of storms could be a little bit on the strong side, some gusty winds, some small hail, not out of the question. But our main concern is with the localized flooding possible with these scattered storms. Now, if we do get a little bit of sunshine, which doesn't look like a good possibility with the fog starting us off and then the clouds for much of the day, if we do get that sunshine, maybe those storms could be a little bit stronger. But right now, our main concern is on that localized heavy flooding. Downtown Madison on the Edgewater Skycam, no rain to talk about just yet. We're looking at mostly cloudy skies today. The high of 83 is about 5 degrees above normal for this time of year. Temperatures will be a little bit cooler to start us off for the work week. Temperatures right now are a little bit cooler. In fact, 73 in Madison, 71 in the Dell, 73 in Monroe, and 69 in Camp Douglas. Dew points are pretty high in the upper 60s and low 70s, so don't be surprised if some patchy dense fog forms once again across southern Wisconsin. Not looking too bad, but Wautoma, the visibility down to 7, Boscoville, that visibility down to 4 miles. High temperature trend looking at the 70s sticking around for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, even into Thursday and Friday before those temperatures head back into the 80s for next weekend. Tonight, patchy fog possible late, partly cloudy and mild. Otherwise, tomorrow breezy and cooler with showers and thunderstorms moving through. We'll take a look at that possibility on future track. This low pressure system moves in during the afternoon and evening hours on Monday. Some heavy downpours and some stronger thunderstorms possible. And those thunderstorms and showers could hang on into portions of Tuesday as well. Locally, about 1 to 2 inches of rain being picked up on our precipitation potential, but there are chances for some higher amounts at the local level. So we'll have to be ready for that Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday and Thursday, though, we should be dry with temperatures in the upper 70s. We'll be in the mid 70s Friday with some more chances for showers and storms, but back to more typical summertime weather by the time we get to next weekend.
Looking forward to that. Thanks, Dave. Well, still ahead, the Brewers hanging in there with 36 games left in the regular season. Highlights next in sports.
News 3. Well, the Packers are beefing up in the backfield thanks to some injuries to the current roster. The team signing running back Bronson Hill this morning. Now, Hill is in his 4th year in the league. He's bounced around a little bit, playing for 8 different teams. He was most recently on the Cardinals until this past May. Now, with this move, the Packers now have 7 running backs on their roster. But Aaron Jones, Devontae Mays, and most recently Jamal Williams all dealing with some injuries. Williams sprained his ankle in this past Thursday's game against Pittsburgh. But the good news is Jones and Mays are getting better. They could potentially play in Oakland on Friday. Now, all of this just is a work in progress, according to head coach Mike McCarthy.
We'll continue to grow as a football team. I like the trajectory that the team is on right now, but I mean, I'm not coach talk here. We got a lot of work to do. For as many good things as we had some things that we definitely need to improve on.
Some baseball now. For a while in the NL Central, it seemed like it was just the Cubs and the Brewers, and they're just trading spots for 1st and 2nd or right neck and neck with each other. But the month of August has not exactly been a forte for this Brewers squad. The team is 5-15 this month, and this week alone 1-4, hanging on to that wild card spot. Series finale in St. Louis this afternoon, scoreless till the 3rd inning. Mike Moustakas sending that one down the right field line. Orlando Arcia and Lorenzo Cain score 2-0 Brewers. Patrick Wisdom, though, cutting the deficit in half in the 8th inning for the Cardinals. But the Brewers bullpen delivering today. Josh Hader closing it out for the 2-1 win, which moves them back into wild card position, a half game ahead of the Cardinals. Cubs still hanging on to 1st place in the NL Central. They're at Pittsburgh today. Scoreless till the 2nd inning here. Kyle Schwarber, he had no doubt where that was going. Hits one into the grandstands in right field for the solo shot, 1-0 Cubs. But the Pirates answer to tie it up and needed extras. Adam Frazier pinch hitting, going over the fences for the walk-off home run. Pirates beat the Cubs 2-1 in 11 innings. Final round of the Wyndham Championship today in North Carolina. Close at the top for 3 pros, but on 15, CT Pan nailing the birdie putt to take the lead at 20 under par. Right up there with him, Brandt Snedeker. Check out this shot. He would bury this shot to put himself in a tied position again. But some trouble on 18 for Pan off the tee. This shot going quite out of bounds. He ends up double bogeying his final hole. Not Snedeker, though. He was as steady as his putt. He finishes at 21 under, winning the Wyndham Championship 11 years to the day that he won his first PGA event, which was also the Wyndham. Finally tonight, Little League World Series in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, one of my favorite events of the summer. Full disclosure, I was an intern there in college. Ultimate Cool Girl, Monet Davis signing autographs in the crowd during the Little League Classic, which featured the Mets and Phillies this year. Monet pitching for the South Philadelphia team in 2014, the first girl to earn a win and pitch a shutout in Little League World Series history. By the way, she's now 17 years old and has moved on to play basketball. We'll be right back.
A rainy start to the week.
Yep, on Monday and for Tuesday, some rain showers will be with us, and an alert day in the forecast for Monday for those showers and thunderstorms. Localized flooding is possible, especially for those areas that just received so much rain last week. Your day planner starting off in the 60s, maybe some patchy fog, then showers and thunderstorms on the way for the afternoon and evening on Monday. Highs will be in the upper 70s.
All right, looks okay.
We need that umbrella.
Yes.
We need that umbrella for sure.
Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.